Now you'll notice a wizard comes up. And the first question it's asking you is the data delimited? Do we have a common separator for each field? In this case, we do. We have the tab. Or is it fixed width? Most of the time when you import, it's going to be delimited data. It's delimited here. We'll start the import at the first row. Also, you'll notice it says my data has headers. Now, this is an interesting situation. When they're talking headers, they're talking about these column headers here. But these are not at the very top of the file. So we're actually going to leave this unchecked. If your column headings were in the first row, you would check my data has headers. But because that's not the case here, we'll leave this unchecked. Keep in mind, if you do an import and it doesn't look right, you can always do it again with some different settings. So this isn't a big deal if you missed this one. We'll go ahead and click Next. Now Excel figured out that the delimiter is a tab key, and we see this here. Now if you happen to have a file that's a little bit of a mess that has multiple delimiters, you can check the treat consecutive delimiters as one box. Hopefully that's not something you have to do, but if you do get a file that's downloaded from a database someplace and the delimiters are kind of not organized very well, let's say, you can treat 2 semicolons as one or 2 commas as one or whatever your delimiter is through checking this box. At any rate, you do want to check and make sure that your data preview looks good. In this case, it does. Here's our sales, here's the truck, here's the 5 days of the week. So far this looks good. We'll go ahead and click Next. Now, when you import data, and by the way, this is a possible test question here, so pay close attention for a moment. You can take any of this data and you can change the format of it. Now, when you see general, understand this. General data works this way. If it's text, it treats it as text. If it's numbers, it treats it as numbers. Now in this case, even though this is a number, this is a code for a truck. So I'm going to change this to text because I don't really want to use this in calculations by accident. So that's this column here, the first column. I've changed it to text. You also have the option of selecting any of your columns and choosing not to import the column. Now in this case, we do want to import every column, so we're just going to leave all of these columns as import. We'll click Finish. Now what I want you to notice is this came in as a separate file. Now later we'll figure out how to move these different sheets around. But when you do an import, it comes in as a brand new file. Same title as what the text file was, and also on the sheet here, but it is a different file. So that's importing a text file. Now another common format that you're going to have for importing data is a CSV, a comma-separated values file. We do have one that we're going to bring in here. So I'll go back to File, and I'll click Open. And I'll click Browse once again. And here is a CSV file. Now you got to look closely to see the logo here. It's a little A with a comma. Or if you run your mouse over the file, you'll see that it is a comma-separated values file. So we'll click on it, and we'll click Open. Now I want you to notice that this time there was no import wizard for one reason. The delimiter on the file is a comma. That's why they call it comma-separated. So it already knows. So it brings it in, no wizard, no changes, you have your file. We imported files 2 different ways here. A straight up text file with a delimited set of data, and a CSV, comma, separated values file.